So in the scanning phase, usually find that schools start with the big data sets and then get narrower and narrower. They usually have a pretty good idea, the teachers have a fairly good idea of what they would like to focus on, but it's too big to really make a difference. If we're going to, the research is very strong, if you're going to make a difference, it's got to be really, the change process, the learning has to be really focused. So coming back to the scanning, so the key question is what's going on for our learners. And you can tell a certain amount. We all know, teachers know their learners and they've got information about their learners, they've got evidence, they've got work samples, but it's really unpacking from the learner's perspective what's happening for them. And all the spirals of inquiry that I've worked with that have been really successful, teachers have interviewed their learners, they from a stance of genuine curiosity, not trying to get the students to say what they think they should say, but really being open to the unexpected. And this forms a great catalyst for teachers to think differently about, well, what might be happening for learners. So an example, at a secondary school, for example, I worked in New South Wales. They looked at the equivalent of their AST results at the end of year 12. For them, of course, it's HSC and it's more curriculum based. But they noticed that the students were doing extremely well when they were required to just give short answers, written answers, but when they were asked to write extended text, they struggled and that let them down. So they thought about this as a group of staff, but then when they went, it wasn't until they went to the students that they found out why. And they talked about hating writing, and they didn't like writing, and they didn't usually do the homework if it was required writing, and they liked the subjects they were doing, but they hated this writing. And then they also talked, the teachers talked amongst themselves and realised that they'd gone into a bit of a downward spiral because the students' written language wasn't that great when they came into the year 7, and that the students objected when teachers asked them to write extended text. So they just focused on the content, as secondary teachers like to do. And then it became, well, if the students were giving the pushback about the extended text, then the teachers were giving them homework and written assignments that only required short answers. So the students simply weren't getting the practice. And so, of course, by year 12, it was predictable. So, but it wasn't until they really asked the students what was going on for them that catalyst for change happened. And so, of course, they focused actually they just started with year 7 initially and focused on writing sentence structure and paragraph structure. That's enough. In fact, they had as an ambition to do cohesion between paragraphs. It actually took them the first 6 months to really get the students up to the end of it, that their sentence structure and paragraph structure was of such high quality that they could then go on to cohesion. So that's what I mean by focusing. And then the developing a hunch, of course, was part of that story, because when the teachers talked among themselves, they realised the contribution they were making to this issue, because they had stopped asking the students or requiring the students to write extended text. And so the students weren't getting the practice. And so it was then that was set up for the next 3 phases. And by focusing on the students like that, you can then monitor whether you're actually making the difference, because it's about whether the students are learning to write much more extended text.